I've gone over 470 plus days on nofap and even cured my corn induced ED. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you the biggest lessons I've learned on the journey so that you can skip this trial and error and get that much closer to the life and the potential you know you can reach. Number one, quitting doesn't fix everything. This is huge because there's this idea on the internet that people put out there that, man, once you just quit, right? Once you get to a certain day on nofap, right, you make a certain amount of progress in your journey that you just get to a point to where everything is just easy. Everything just is automatic. You're automatically a success overnight, this and that. But it's all completely garbage. To tell you the truth, the main three things I always love to say that you will get back is time, energy, and attention. And those three things are really three of the major ingredients that allow you to direct your life in a certain way, right? Because you even getting back that time, that energy and attention just lets you focus on the things that you want to focus versus on the other side, right? A lot of times you're distracted, you have brain fog, you're not really focused on what you need to be focused on, right? And people expect this automatic, confidence, happiness. And yes, for sure, you'll be happier. That's one thing I will say. You'll be happier because you're on the right path, the path that you know was meant for you. But the truth is, this is really just the foundation for what else you want to achieve in life, right? You have to build up these good habits that allow you to put more of your time and your finite resources into the goals that you actually have for your life, right? Freedom really gives you that clean slate, but you're the one who has to write the story. So again, it's a tool in the toolbox. It will not solve all your problems, but definitely will solve those related to consumption of, the adult content, dysfunctions as well, anything like that. Trust me, this will be solved and will give you an opportunity even to get in the arena of relationships and be able to have successful relationships instead of being stuck in the same place over and over again. Number two, urges don't disappear, they get weaker. Right, so we always talk about lifestyle setup and making a lifestyle that is conducive to your success. And what does that actually mean? What happens is when you take inventory of these different areas, right, you're on point with the things that you need to do. What happens is urges just tend to be less and less, right? It doesn't mean that they completely disappear, but the longer you go, right, you're training these habits and even how your brain works. When you're continuously relapsing, right, going back to square one, what happens is there's something in your brain that actually just makes it easier and easier for you to relapse and stay in that cycle. But when you continue to abstain for a long period of time, your brain actually tends to get stronger and build up that momentum so that you can stay on this consistent path for as long as possible, right? And obviously someone that has gone a long extended period of time, 100+ day streaks, I can tell you that sometimes, yes, they do show up, but you have a way more control over those urges, right? And the difference is, right, if you think someone after maybe 100 days ends up relapsing versus someone that's only able to go maybe 1 or 2 days, what we're really looking at is the fact that you are able to control your urges versus your urges controlling you. 1 out of every 100 days is not bad at all, right? But 1 every single day, then you're really in a position to where you need to fix things and try to tighten things up because it's going to control you, right? You're not going to be able to focus, brain fog, all these things, right? You have to stay focused if you want to achieve, your goals and that potential that you really want. And the win is not to never feel an urge, right? It's about having the tools in your toolbox and knowing how to manage them. Manage. Man, people will say all over the internet, all over that, man, you just do this one thing, you're good for the rest of your life. Instead, what I like to preach is you learning those tools to manage things so that when inevitably something does come up, you're able to handle the situation, right? So this is a game of management, not of just, man, you just get to one point and you're, God mode, basically. That is not what we're talking about at all. So keep that in mind. Number three, your environment is stronger than willpower. Man, when I really look back at all the time that it took me to even reach that point to where I had the knowledge and the things to put the tools in the toolbox to enter those, 100 plus day streaks and even do over 470 plus days on nofap, right? What really I noticed is that, man, when you have that environment correct, and that's the small things to the big things, right? Your room setup, right? Even the things you eat, what you watch, what you listen to, all of these small things, when you really take account for them, it will make it that much easier for you to be on point and not relapse. Like, it's 100% facts, right? And if you have, a room or your phone, right, or these different places that just trigger you, man, you're never going to be able to out willpower any of that, right? You're just going to be stuck in the same place and never make any progress, right? And then, of course, when you get stuck in that cycle, right, people end up having the dysfunctions, right? Can't get it up, can't finish, all these different dysfunctions that are really part of this journey, right? But I noticed when I changed my environment, right, unfollowed the certain accounts, use different tools in the toolbox, especially for things like dating apps as well, because that can spark your dopamine like crazy. When I really put in that work and took inventory of all these different areas, right, I put the plugs in place, right, the blinders in place so that I could get strong, so that I could really be on point with my habits and just know, right, what's going on and where my time, energy, and attention is and how I actually relapse, what those patterns actually look like. It made it that much easier to where I didn't really need willpower, right? I didn't need much at all. Definitely not what I did in the past where it was an everyday struggle. It just got to the point to where, okay, man, I have these tools already in place. I already know where the urge is going to come up because, to tell you the truth, you probably relapse the same way millions of times. So once you have a plan for it and you take that inventory, you literally can't lose, right? You just have to actually put in the work, right? And stop being lazy and think that you can just out willpower or things are going to change overnight, right? And then always people say the thing about you don't rise to your goals, but it's more about you fall to your environment. So it doesn't really matter how, focused you are on the goals. You have all these things that you want to do because sure, a lot of other people do too. But the difference between those people who actually reach that and those that don't are the people that reach it. Again, they put in the work, right? Both people could be working hard, but it's about making it as easy as possible to win, right? And that's the huge difference that a lot of people don't look at. And how do you do that? Through your environment, right? Now, I built a course that gives you the exact step-by-step instructions on how I reach these 470 days and how you can do the exact same thing in half the time and skip all of the struggle and trial and error. Click the link in the description to learn more. Number 4, your brain can heal faster than you think. This is a gem right here. People are not going to tell you this, right? So there's this idea that there's a strict number that you always have to go for, right? 30, 60, 90, right? And everywhere on the internet, this is what you see. You see people that say this exact same thing. What I've noticed is that through certain techniques, especially looking at the lifestyle, looking at the diet, right? Looking at, you working out, you sleeping right, you eating right, all of these different things, you can speed up that process, especially if there are any dysfunctions there. You can speed that process up so much versus just listening to the blanket advice on the internet that's just telling you that there are a set number of days you have to go before you get there. And of course, right, people always put in as well how long you are addicted really does play a factor. And I 100% agree with that. But I for sure, and have seen it in my own case, to where I was able to solve that issue, right, a dysfunction within 1 week, which is insane. It literally doesn't even sound believable. If somebody told me that back in the day, I would say you're lying. Like, everything on the internet tells me otherwise. But when you really take lifestyle inventory and you look at these little things and do them correctly, what happens is you can speed up that process to where it doesn't take you, right, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. You can literally get those results within a much shorter period of time. Now, is everyone going to get there in a week? Absolutely not. And I'm not going to lie and say you will, but you can absolutely speed up your results by taking the inventory, right? Absolutely. It's not possible. It's inevitable if you stay consistent, actually look at those small things. Number 5, relapses aren't the end, they're feedback. Now, it's so easy just to get down on yourself, right, when you relapse. And a lot of times they're inevitable, right? It's going to happen at some point or another. And really, how you should look at that and view it is, okay, this gave me feedback that my current plan is not working. What can I change in this current plan to help me improve, right? To help me be on point with the lust, be able to control these things, right? It's literally giving you feedback. And what you need to do is look at the feedback and put certain plugs in place, right? In whatever your lifestyle is, so that you can address this, right? Because there's always a pattern, right? And it happens, like I said earlier, it happens over and over again. So maybe for someone, right, it's the social media, maybe it's Reddit or something like that, right? So if you plug that place right there, you literally just made your plan that much stronger. You just basically added XP to your armor, right? You have a stronger set of armor and gear and all that, right? So that's what you really have to look at is feedback and take it into account, because the majority of people, what they're going to do is they're going to see that happens, but then they're too lazy to do anything about it, right? And that's why people get stuck in the same place over and over again, and including myself, right? Because I was there as well. So I'm really speaking about what I went through, but also what a lot of other people have seen throughout their own experience, right? So if you really treat them as data and not a failure, you will actually make progress, right? And again, right, you see the patterns, right? Could be late nights, certain emotions as well, stress, all these different things, loneliness, all of these different things, right? When you take inventory and you take the feedback and actually implement it, trust me, you will see a difference. Number 6, quitting is a flashlight, not a finish line. Now this is a big one, right? Because like I said earlier, yes, there are certain issues that will not be solved, but this is not a magic pill just to get you to whatever your dream outcome is, right? There's still other work, right? Some people think, okay, when they quit, they're going to be able to get the partner of their dreams, this and that. But no, literally, you're the exact same person. You just fixed one bad habit that you have. And now, okay, what's the next step? Maybe you have to improve your appearance. Maybe you have to get more attractive, right? Try different hairstyles, beard, right? Eyebrows, all these different things, right? So it's almost a ladder, right, that people have to go through. And what this really does is it shines light on those other weak areas for you, right? Because a lot of people tend to blame their failure and the things that they're not achieving on the corn, right? They're just like, man, this is why I'm not successful. If I was just able to get rid of this, I would be successful, right? No, that's completely false. How you need to look at it is, okay, once you do get through this bad habit, it's going to show you all the other things and areas that you have to work on. Because this is one problem, and trust me, humans have problems, right? You have a lot of problems that you don't even know about till you get through this first one, right? So maybe it's communication within a relationship, right? But there are other things that you're going to have to learn. Maybe it's even how to present yourself online, right? Being more attractive. All of these different things you are going to have to learn along the way, right? But this is that first step so that you have a solid foundation to build off of. Because, right, literally, if you don't get to a point to where you have, right, the lust under control, your foundation is terrible, right? Anything can really happen to you, and one day, right, you have certain dysfunctions, right? Another day, it's just problems, more problems that you have to deal with, right? And definitely, it's uncomfortable to shed light on your weak areas, but it's really a gift because it allows you to improve and become, again, the man that you know you can be, and you being able to reach that full potential, right? And the other habits, man, you could have procrastination, laziness, all these different things, but you've been using the corn, right, as an scapegoat. So you have to be mindful of this. And number 7, freedom is a daily practice. Like I said earlier, maintenance, maintenance, maintenance. This is not a, one change fixes all. It's you learning, right, the patterns for yourself, becoming aware of those patterns, which a lot of times, you've been lullabied to sleep because so many things in society are just common, right? Everyone's on Instagram, everyone's doing this, dating apps, this and that. No, you have to figure out what works for you, right? There's no magic day where everything is done. No, this is a constant maintenance, right? It's just like anything, money maintenance, car maintenance, all these different things. You have to, even your body, right? You got to maintain it. Now, don't get me wrong. Once you get to a point to where it's easy, right? You're in shape. All right, now you just do these maintenance workouts. You still put in work, but you've gotten so strong and you've reached that physique to where you're okay, you're good. And it's really no different, right? And the longer you practice these things, the more natural it becomes. And it's just who you are at the end of the day. It's not you're trying to become this, you're trying to become that. No, you've developed these characteristics that allow you to have the opportunity, right, to become the successful person that you want to become, right? To do all of these things. So keep it in mind, take inventory, pay attention. You only get one shot, but you can reach that opportunity. You can reach the success you want. You have it. It's all in the palm of your hands. Your potential is up to you. Now, if you want to learn more, click this video on the screen here.